2002 Pontiac Grand Am SE with a 2.2 liter Ecotec engine. Today I'm going to change the oil. Pretty straightforward process as far as draining it. The only thing unusual is on this car, the filter is down under that big plastic cover there. I'll show you how to replace that. I've got a 32mm socket with a fairly long extension. We're going to reach down in there and just loosen that nut. They do make a special socket just for this purpose. It's quite a bit shorter, which makes it easier to get down in this fairly tight space here. But if you're careful, you can get this one down in there at kind of an angle, get that loose, then unscrew it by hand. You'll be fine. Just going to go ahead and get this loosened up. You might want to tip your socket just a little bit to the side now so it doesn't get pinched in down there. Once it's loose, you can kind of undo it at an angle. It's real loose now, and you'll be able to reach down in there and pull that out by hand. It's going to drip some oil. Once it's all the way out and it's moving like this, you lift it up just a little bit, let some of that oil drain out of there. Then get ready to kind of bring it out and turn it upside down as soon as you can. Keep it from dripping. But there's your filter. There's the red O-ring on there that we're going to change. I'll show you how to pull this out of there. You want to take a quick look down in here to make sure there's not a excessive buildup of dirt or anything like that. This one's very clean, so there's really nothing that needs to be done before we replace the filter and screw it back in. Let's take a look at the new filter. This is what the new filter looks like. Little point on one end, different on the other. What you're going to want to do is grab this filter holder, get it by the end, and just pull that up and out of there. Go ahead and kind of clean this up a little bit. Once you've got this piece somewhat wiped off and some of the oil kind of drained out of it, you're going to want to get a pick or a small screwdriver, get under this O-ring, pry that O-ring out of there. Then inside the package comes with a new one. This one's black. I'm going to go ahead and get this groove kind of cleaned out. Then just work this black O-ring back in there. Take the new O-ring. Go ahead and install it. You can stretch it a little bit, it's not going to hurt anything. Make sure it's in the correct groove. Then you're going to want to add just a little dab of oil and lubricate that O-ring. Then you take the new filter, take this end, it snaps in there, and you're ready to reinstall. Once you've got that filter snapped in there and you've lubricated that O-ring just a little bit, go ahead and reach down in there. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but when I reached down in here to put that in, I pushed on this little black plastic hose and it snapped right in here. So I'm going to have to do a little repair there. So be careful. You know, ideally this thing is fairly flexible and you shouldn't have a problem. But anyway, reach down in there. Make sure you don't get it cross-threaded. Should be able to screw it pretty much all the way in by hand. Once you get it far enough down there, you'll have plenty of room to reach in there with this full-sized, full-depth socket. Don't really need to crank on anything, just a gently tight, and that's the filter. I keep some sections of clear tubing around, and in this case I found one that black pipe goes in there pretty hard. We'll just get this one side in there, cut this down to length, work it onto the other side. Temporary fix. Probably going to have to go to a junkyard to get that part because it's a pretty customized hose. Add just a little dab of oil. Should be able to get this one to slide in there. Okay, there's the fix. See if we can zoom in on that. There's the fix. That should work for temporary until I can get a replacement hose there. To get to that drain plug, you're going to need to jack the car up. Use extreme caution. I chock the back wheel. You can put the safety brake on. I'm going to go ahead and get this thing jacked up. Underneath the car, you want to jack it up by the frame. I like to try and get the jack onto a bolt head like that, just for extra security. You want to get your jack stand in place underneath the frame, then drop it down on the frame. Go ahead and leave that jack in place there, and now you'll be able to get to that oil drain plug. Underneath the car here, you can see the transmission oil pan. Here's your regular oil pan, and around in the back is that drain plug. We're going to need to take that off, let the oil drain out into a pan, put it back on, get it good and snug, refill with oil. Got the socket and the wrench on there. Make sure you're going to turn in the right direction. Break that loose. This is where you're going to want to have on some gloves. Go ahead and undo that drain plug. Best you can, get it out of the way before you get a big splash on you. That oil could be very hot. Depends on if the car's been running and driven for a while. If so, be extra careful. In this case, the car is fairly cold, so that's going to be just warm oil. Get it backed out to where you can feel that it's pretty loose. Then you're going to want to grab, pull down, and get out of the way as fast as you can. Let that completely drain out of there. Clean this drain plug up. Usually there's a magnet on the end. Get all the small particles off the magnet. Screw this back in. Get it good and tight. Refill the oil. Get that drain plug good and cleaned off. Check the gasket on there. There's a lot of different kinds of gaskets that go on there. This one has a kind of a black rubber. Everything looks good there. So this one's ready to go back in. Here's your dipstick for checking oil level. Here's the cap we're going to take off to add oil into the engine. So remove that. We'll put a funnel in there and we'll add 5 quarts of oil in here. Some people might add 3 quarts of oil, start it, make sure they don't have any leaks. Once they know they don't have any leaks, they go ahead and add the last 2 quarts. But we're just going to go ahead and add 5. Put this somewhere where you won't forget it. Get a good sized funnel. And now we'll add the 5 quarts of oil. Jack it back up a little bit. Carefully reach in there and get that jack stand. Carefully let it down. Now I'm going to pull this dipstick out. Wipe it off. Reinsert it all the way in. Pull it back out. And check for the oil level. If you look at the end of the dipstick, you can see it says max and min. You want it towards the top there, towards that top groove. It's probably kind of hard to see this, but it's up there right close to that top groove. So we've got it full.